Welcome to Mugello in the GT2s. Now for this race we're going to have a little bit of a twist added to it. Not only are we not starting in position 12, but we're going to start last. We're going to set our own challenge, not to overtake a single player unless they are ghosted, crashed out, or they surrender the position. Now that sounds easy, doesn't it? But it isn't, and it's not as hard as you would also think either, to be quite honest, when situations like that happen to our favour. So again, ghosted cars, we can plough through them. People that are crashing out, we can overtake them, as well as people that deliberately slow down or are slowed down, we can also overtake them to save having an accident if we are someone behind us and we don't need to randomly brake. Anyway, we've gained a few positions already. We're now in position 20. We have Psycho Carl 6 seconds behind us and Will Speed and the Ferrari up in front. So this challenge is absolutely perfect for this track in itself. Not only is everybody crashing and making our lives a lot easier, it's so brutal on tyres, even running 2 sets of hards can run you into a little bit of trouble. So tyre strategy is going to be at play here. We're going to be on hard tyres like we are at the moment, and then jumping on to another set of hard tyres when we go into the pits. Other people may have a totally different strategy, and whilst they are in the pits, obviously we can overtake them. So the more people that go into the pits, the better it is for us. Not only that, there's a yellow car going so far wide and surprised they're still on the track. Now, we have gained a total of 8 positions. There's 24 of us in the race to start with. Now we're in position 16, right behind Dog Breath up in front. Dog Breath, as we all know, is a name I always shout out when I see him in the race. So Dog Breath, if you see this video, raise your hands up, buddy. Good to see you again. I would like to say though, Dog Breath, go outside, touch some grass, see some sunlight, because you're prestiged a ridiculous amount of times, and you'll see that as the race ends on the leaderboard. Now, 2x2 of the cars up in front, we're going to be stuck behind quarter block. Yeah, that is blocked. Up in front, I thought it said something else. Samurai quit. Ideal, that's given us another position. And we just need to try and persuade the Corvette up in front to make a mistake, go off track, go a little bit wide, do something that's going to give us the opportunity to overtake. Not only this, you may have noticed I am using the interior camera view, and that's because I've never done it in Forza Motorsport, and I thought, why not give it a try? And I will be totally honest with you, it sucks. I'm not a fan of it, especially when you're hard braking. The whole car just shudders, and a lot of the time the ABS is kicking in, for example, when in reality you're not really locking up, it's just kicking in because it's bored. So yeah, it's quite jarring, shall we say, and the view is not good. It's not great whatsoever. Now SPV Louis behind us is, for better words, a problem in this race, shall we say, because they don't understand what A, given space is, and B, common sense is. You'll see that as this race progresses, you know, going through there, I'm already halfway up the curb, and they still managed to hit the front end of this car. Managed it. Don't know how, don't know why, but space is not awarded, or common sense to a certain degree. Now if you see this Louis, you gotta give space, man. But see what I mean? It's like you're not gonna overtake on the lawn, you know? Not like that, especially when the Forza grass is either made out of slip and slide or glue. You know, it's really not ideal. What is ideal is another person has just quit the race on the right hand side by the looks of it, or they just ghosted out. I'm not too sure what happened, but they were there in the soil, now they're not. So 3 wide to a certain degree, coming down towards turn 1. We have another contender joining this situation, which is less than ideal. This is the problem with being held up by a slower car that hasn't had an accident yet. And obviously space was not awarded in turn 2. Thank you, Aston Martin, much appreciated. A driver skill level awarded of lack of space, Apex Syndrome. That's your tag for this week. Now we're going to be side by side with this Corvette now. Kind of a hard judgment to make whether we gain that position back or not, but now they are fully ahead. We have to concede, and hopefully they crash and we can bunny hop and catch up to the other cars. That's a slowdown. I would take that as a slowdown, but they managed to get the power back up quick enough to not make it a problem and kind of make it our problem that we can't overtake. Oh, look, there we are. Louis in the lawn. There we go. Building sandcastle for all of us to see. Thank you very much, brother. Very much appreciated. And a little bit later on, thank you to the Corvette up in front. We actually caught up to the C7 we got held up with already. So that C7 has got pushed wide. Is that a position gain? Kind of. I would say there was a battle and Louis, Block, his name is, not Bollock, had to surrender position. And somehow they're not behind us anymore. But we are stuck behind Mr. Anderson, and Louis has managed to catch up to us. No harm, no foul. As we're going to enter this corner now, things become a lot more interesting. I have a Corvette to my left. Louis is going up the inside, thinking that's the opportune moment to overtake. That is the right call to make, up the inside of a corner like that. There is Apex Syndrome, and then there is that. I have no clue what they were thinking in their mind. Probably wasn't even using their mind to think, but they're no longer a problem because whatever's happened has caused them to be stuck behind us. That is a car exiting the pits. That is a position gained. We're now up to P8. Bearing in mind though, we do have to pit at the end of lap 8, so we're halfway through the race, and that will be our beneficial point during this race. One pit stop. Whether it will actually work in our favour or not, do not know, but what would be ideal is if we do finish this race in the top 10. I mean, coming around back end of lap 7, we have an overtake. The Lord works in mysterious ways, and that is a position gain from given space, you know, because they've been already in the pits, and I thought, you know, they're definitely going to be fast, they're going to be a different tyre compound, and let them have their way. Choose your battles wisely, and the Lord delivers. Thank you to the Forza gods, very much appreciated, as well as there is a car in the pits, 2 of them to be exact. We're now up to position 6. Okay, we're going to have to pit stop at our own point at the end of this lap and to get a fresh set of new tyres. We're now coming out the other side in position 12. And 4 seconds behind Louis, who is carrying a 4-second penalty. So would the penalties count in this race? If it benefits us, we're going to count it. That's the great thing about making your own challenges. You can make your own rules as you're going around that suits and fits. And you can see now, getting quite red-faced. It is very hot in this room. And I'm recording this late at night. You know, you think the temperatures would drop in the UK, but no. No, this house really does love to hold its heat. So can't really grumble too much. Louis is back in the pits. We're coming out the other side, well ahead of them. Absolutely beautiful. Now left G position 1 is 53.4 seconds away. That has now increased to 58. But we are passing people in the pits, and that's what matters. We're now in or on the top 10. You know, can't really grumble too much about that. We are 5.1 seconds away from ICP Serenity up in front. Take that back. There is another person in the pits we're benefiting from again. Now we're in the top 10, and that's what matters. Oh, there's ICP. Come back from gardening. Totally butchered the overtake. Could have just Caspered my way through that situation, but carried too much thought process into that and bottled it. Yeah, well done, Flash. Absolute genius move. Lap 14 right up behind them, trying to apply that pressure because Anox behind in position 10 has been in the pits twice. They are going to be faster than us, and they're going to be reeling us in. But we can't overtake unless they make a mistake. And they're also not making a mistake. Well, they're making plenty of mistakes, but not going off the track. And then defending from said mistakes, so we can't pass them. Well, we can't pass them anyway, but they don't know that, you know. So I can understand to a certain degree. But it is frustrating because by lap 15, Anox has caught us up. And you know what? I'm going to let them overtake and see if the BMW would battle them. They did not. Damn it. Well, you know what? We tried, and the Forza gods delivered once. They won't deliver a blessing again. Crazy enough, though, position 11 is 29 seconds away, so we're not under pressure from anybody behind now, are we? I think the majority of the drivers have quit this race, which is kind of frustrating, I would like to add. And Serenity, you broke quite early there, so I do apologise about the rear end shunt. But because it's the last lap, and because we can make the rules up here, last lap, free reign. If we can overtake, we're going to overtake. Now push BMW. You've got it in the bag. If you can get this overtake done, we'll have that position. I mean, technically, with the penalty, we kind of already got the position, providing we stay 0.6 seconds behind them. But the overtake is an overtake. And we have waited 16 laps to be able to commit to an overtake. So why not have it on the final lap? Let's get that move done. Not over defend, please, Serenity. We need this position from you. Need that gain. BMW, I need the horsepower. Come on, where was you at when we put the power down and not a lot was there? I gotta say, coming from LMU into Forza Motorsport was quite a transition, because the cars have grip until they don't, like in LMU, whereas in Forza Motorsport it's pretty much like a slip and slide ice rink festival, and if you can drift it, you can make it. And that is Forza Motorsport to a degree. The TCR cars aren't too like that in any way. They're very, very good, but that is a very, very good overtake as well, Flash. Kudos to you, buddy. Well done, and beautiful through that moment there, out to the side. 0.8 seconds ahead, insane. But yeah, it's kind of hard to get used to how the rear ends on these cars really like to step out, whereas in LMU, you know, you don't want to step out too much, because then the car will overtake you, and that's the last thing you want. But we are crossing the line in position 9. There's a couple of cars in the pits, oddly enough, but I guess they were a lap behind because we didn't gain any positions from that. But you will see how Dog Breath is prestige level 16. My gosh, go outside. And everybody from position 13 onwards has quit the race. Absolutely insane. Welcome to GT2.